So ESPN released their top 25 list of the best WNBA players in the league today. I think it was a couple days ago they released this list, and I want to jump right into this. Now, first off, we have here, as you can see, Kelsey Mitchell for the Indiana Fever. I think she's been pretty good this season. I don't think she's been perfect at all. I think she's a big shot chucker, but at the same time, when she's hitting her shots, she's on a roll. When she's cold, she's not as effective. Obviously, you can see she doesn't do a lot of playmaking. She doesn't rebound the ball too well, but she can get you a bucket. And when she's hitting her threes, she's pretty good. And then next on this list, Chennedy Carter. I don't know why she's 24th. She's, to me, in my opinion, a top 10 player of the WNBA. Without Chennedy Carter, the Sky is one of the worst teams in the WNBA. Because Angel Reese, we love her double-doubles. We understand that she's great on the offensive rebound. She's great on defense. However, when it comes to scoring, Chennedy Carter is the number one option for the Chicago Sky. When you saw that game against the Las Vegas Aces, she was the main reason why they won that basketball game. She went out there and got 34 points. Ever since she's gotten to the starting lineup, I think she's averaging around like 21 points a game. And you can have a conversation between her and Clark. It's night and day because I think Carter's that good. She's not getting enough credit right now, which I think this is ludicrous to me. Now, going up to Alicia Gray, I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched really any games of the Atlanta Dream this year between her and Howard. I don't know much about them. I just want to be honest and not give you a false opinion or something I know nothing about. Brianna Jones, again, Connecticut Sun. I know they're at the top of the conference. They're one of the best teams in the WNBA. Haven't watched a lot of games of them. Just going to be honest. Now, going to Kayla McBride, the Minnesota Lynx. She was out there playing without Collier. She was out with an injury, and she helped keep them afloat. And, 16 points, almost 4 assists a game, 43% from the three. That's really good. The average percentage, I found this out a couple of weeks ago, is like 34, 35% in the WNBA. So to me, that's really impressive if you're shooting that type of percentage. I think she should be ranked higher on this list, more like top 15, in my opinion. And then Angel Reese. I have no issue with her being 19th. I think one of the things that Reese does need to work on this offseason is her offensive bag. I think she needs to get better in the post game. She has a tough time finishing at the rim. She gets a lot of offensive rebounds based off her misses. That's okay. At least she's hustling, trying to create opportunities for herself or her teammates. But she's not their best offensive player. That's not a shot at Angel Reese. That's just something she needs to get better at. The double-doubles are cool, but at the same time, when you're averaging like 10, 11 points a game, it's nice that you got the rebounds, but if you're not scoring enough and you lose a game like they lost to Mercury by 20 points and Carter wasn't playing that game, that's when it shows up where you're like, yo, you got to get better on offense. Otherwise, you can't carry your team like you would like to because you're not that good on offense. Defensively, she's great to me, but when it comes to her offensive game, it needs to improve. And then 18th on this list, DeWanna Bonner. Again, I don't know much about the Connecticut Sun, so let's go ahead and continue. Aaliyah Boston. I don't have an issue here with her being 17th. I think in her second year, she has gotten better as the season has progressed with being the second option next to Caitlin Clark. I think she's the perfect teammate for Caitlin Clark because she's not bashing her in the media. She's the perfect piece next to Clark with pick and roll offense, get into her spots on the opposite side of the ball, making Caitlin Clark's playmaking much easier out there. So I've got no issue here. It's her second year. I think she'll get better. I mean, you're at 14 points a game, 8 rebounds. I know she made an all-star game again. But I think she's only going to elevate her game and get more attention because she's got Clark now. And I hope this duo stays together. And then number 16, Brittany Griner. Now, she's had some injuries this year. When she's on the court, she's fantastic. You see almost 19 points a night, almost 7 rebounds. I think she was available. She'd be higher on this list, about like close to top 10. You can make an argument for her there. And I just think it's her availability that's caused her to come down this list. But again, I think seeing Carter at 24th, going back to that, it's just ridiculous. Like Bonner, I'm not trying to throw shade at her. I think Carter's been better because she's had to carry so much on the opposite side of the ball. And you look at the Chicago Sky, they don't have a lot of offensive weapons out there. The spacing is very limited. They don't have a lot of shooting. And Kennedy Carter has to take on a lot of responsibilities. And I'm sure she's getting blitzed out there from different teams. So if they take the ball out of her hands, she's got to find the ball again. But the fact that she's still cooking teams and getting in her offense with an offense that's very limited, it's impressive. And I think, again, Carter should be higher on this list. And going to 15th is Caitlin Clark. What are we doing here? This is ridiculous to me. She's easily a top 10 player, and it's not even a conversation to me. I know people were talking about the turnovers. I get that. She did struggle early in the season, but the way she's reading the game now, the way she's pushing the ball and playing with more pace, getting to her spots, setting up her teammates for success, she has improved as the season has gone by. And to me, I think a lot of this list is clickbait. So it's ESPN, so you can't be too surprised by what they're doing here. But to see Caitlin Clark 15th is nuts to me. Now, number 14 on this list is Jewel Lloyd. Again, the higher we get on this list, I get more upset because Chennedy Carter is so low. Chennedy Carter's been better than Jewel Lloyd this year. And then Caitlin Clark being below her, it's nuts to me. Even McBride, she should be higher on this list. I don't get it. Jewel Lloyd should be in that like 16-25 range. I mean, I'm not moved by Jewel Lloyd at all. I think Clark's been better. I think, again, Chennedy Carter's been so much better just because of what they've had to deal with. And this is just, again, nuts to me. And at number 13 on this list, Arike Ogunbowale. I think she is fun to watch. I know she could be hot and cold on offense, but man, when she gets it going and she's in takeover mode, she is going to shred you to pieces. She can isolate with the best of them. And, seeing her at the All-Star game, the way she scored 34 points in that second half and completely destroyed Team USA was really impressive. She did that in 2021. And I know she hasn't been on Team USA. I think she should have been on that roster because they could have used a player like her to just take over for a 3-5 minute stretch and just get you a bucket. You do need that on your team when you're trying to generate offense and the offense is stagnant. I love Arike in isolation. I love to see her on a better team. Maybe the Wings turn things around next season. I don't know. But I love her style. I love the way she can just isolate, get you a bucket, score. And I know sometimes she might struggle, but you want somebody like this on your team who's not afraid in isolation to go out to your opponent, who's going to take over at any moment of the game. That's really entertaining and really fun to watch. And if you want to argue for her top 10, I don't really have a problem with that, especially when you know her potential and what she can do in a span of like 5-10 minutes and just get you a bunch of points and then lead your team to a W. Like that does have a lot of value to me. But again, I get where she's ranked at 13. That makes sense to me as well. Number 12, Ezzy Magbeggar. I don't know if I said her last name right, so apologize if I butchered it. But yeah, her being 12th because of her Olympic performance. She didn't play that well during the Olympics, and somehow she should be 12th on this list. I would move her down as well. I think Chennedy Carter needs to be higher. Caitlin Clark needs to be higher. McBride needs to be higher on this list. And I would even put Arike above her because she has the ability to just take over any moment of a game. As you can see, she's averaging 22 points as well, 5 assists and almost 5 rebounds a night. This list is pretty terrible to me so far. I don't get why she's 12th based off of an Olympic game. It's like they're not watching these basketball games and properly evaluating these players. Then going to number 11, Kelsey Plum. Listen, I get why they put her here because the Aces have won back-to-back championships. But at the same time, she's been pretty inconsistent. She has one good game. She's bad the next 3 games. And I understand that their Aces are back-to-back champions, but she has not been better than Chennedy Carter, Caitlin Clark, McBride. If you want to make an argument for Leah Boston, you can. But Plum being a top 15 player this season, no, I don't agree with this whatsoever. I would even put Arike above her because I just think those players have been better this season, in my opinion. Moving to the top 10, Kalia Copper. She is just fun to watch. She can get you a bucket. And I'm glad the U.S. women's team finally played her more down the stretch because she was a key part of them generating offense and helping them score. She was one of the main reasons why they won the gold medal. And again, you're at 23 points a game, almost 5 rebounds a night, 2 assists. Yeah, she's definitely a top 10 player. If you want to move her higher, like at 6th or 7th, I've got no problem with that. She's just fantastic to watch, and Copper can just go out there and be an instant spark for your team. Number 9 on this list, De'Erica Hamby. Hopefully I said her first name right. I know she's on a bad team for the Sparks, but you're averaging almost 20 points, 10 rebounds a night. And I think she's only going to get better. We'll see what the Sparks do after this offseason because they're tanking for a high draft pick. So if they can get somebody really talented in the draft and you can add her next to Hamby, I think you should go after a shooting guard just so they can pair up together, or a point guard. That way, it's easier for Hamby to get even more buckets, but you're averaging almost 20 points a night. That's pretty impressive on a bad team, and you're continuing to produce. And I know, like, the Sparks aren't that good, but Hamby being a top 10 player, I have no issue with this whatsoever. Number 8 on this list, Neke Agumake. You've been in the league for 13 seasons. You changed teams and switched to the Storm. You're still averaging almost 18 points a night, almost 8 rebounds on 3 assists, almost, and then shooting 41% from 3. Just fantastic stuff. And continue to evolve and adapt to a new team. It just shows, if she's on a new roster, she can still produce at a high level. And then number 7 on this list, Sabrina Ionescu. She's won Player of the Month, Player of the Week, and she's not top 5. I don't get it. She's at almost 20 points a night, 6 assists, almost 5 rebounds, and you got her 7th. She's easily a top 5 player this season. I think you can't leave her out of that, especially when the Liberty, they just beat the Aces today, and she's the leading catalyst. I know Breonna Stewart's on this team as well, but Sabrina should be higher in my opinion. I think she's just fantastic as a guard, and there's no way I would have her 7th. And then number 6 on this list, Jackie Young, just phenomenal on defense. That's her calling card. She has career highs in scoring, rebound, and assists, which I think is impressive, especially after the Aces have won back-to-back championships. And again, her calling card is on defense. And to have this amount of points you're averaging and assists and rebounds, you just add more value to the game. And if Jackie Young can figure out her shot and shoot it better in the playoffs, the Aces are probably going to win again the title. But we'll see what happens there. And then number 5 on this list is Jonquel Jones. 6'6", got off to a slow start because of the foot injury. It was the first season she played with the Liberty, which I think is really impressive to make that adjustment. And you're shooting almost 40% from 3 on 4 attempts a night. You got 15 points, 9 rebounds, a block a night. And you got a career high in assists at 3.5 assists a night as well. So again, Jones has been really good for the Liberty. So I have no problem with her being top 5. And then number 4 on this list, Alyssa Thomas. I love her as a playmaker. I wish the Olympic team used her more in that regard. I think she had like 14 assists last night. She was just dominant out there. And the Sun just have a fantastic offense. And with her at the helm, they're going to be very tough to beat in the playoffs. Number 3, we got Collier. I have no issue with her being here. Double-double machine. And the Minnesota Lynx are going to be tough in the playoffs as well. They won the Commissioner's Cup here, and they're a contender. So we'll see how they deal with the Sun, the Liberty, and, of course, the Aces. You can't count them out. They're the back-to-back champs for a reason. But, yeah, Collier has been fantastic for the Lynx. Number 2 on this list, Breanna Stewart. She was fantastic for Team USA. I thought her and Asia Wilson were the most important players on that roster because if they were not in France playing for Team USA, they had no chance of winning gold medal. Because I thought the construction of that roster was not good, but having Stewart and Wilson, they were just really important, especially when they needed a basket. Stewart was important. I know she struggled in the gold medal game, but outside of that, she was fantastic. And, of course, the best player in the WNBA, there's really no debate here, Asia Wilson. I mean, what she's done in her career so far is just legendary stuff. And she's going to win an MVP. She'll probably win it by a landslide. And she's leading the league in scoring, rebounding, blocks, player efficiency rating, and win shares. I mean, the girl is fantastic. And even if she doesn't win the title this year, to get her 3rd MVP, especially when Chelsea Gray was out for half the season after her foot injury last year in the WNBA Finals, is impressive to me. And even if they lose during the playoff run, Asia Wilson will still be the best player to me because of her career and what she's accomplished. And she has shown up in big games. And she was big for the Team USA to win the gold medal because without her contribution in that game against France, they were going to lose that game. So Wilson, again, steps up when you need her most. And to me, she's just the best player. Just to recap, I thought having Chennedy Carter 24th was egregious. I think she should have been a top 10 player for this list. Kelsey Plum ahead of her, Jewel Lloyd. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. And Angel Reese was above her. And Kennedy Carter's been better than Angel Reese on offense. She's been the most important player for Chicago Sky. She's been the best player. So to have Reese above her is just unreal and just disrespectful to Kennedy Carter. And then Caitlin Clark, of course, being 15th, she should be a top 10 player. I thought Sabrina Ionescu should have been top 5. And when I'm looking at the best guards right now, the WNBA, of course, you have Caitlin Clark there, Sabrina, and this is in no order, by the way. Sabrina Ionescu, you got Jackie Young and Kennedy Carter. I think Kennedy Carter has been that good this season because without her contribution, who knows where the Chicago Sky is right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on ESPN's top 25 list for the WNBA. Do you agree or disagree? Love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.